On today's EMJ PGA podcast, we welcome Ben back from his 1 week holiday and we talk all things Tiger Woods and why he is in the news again, but for frustrating reasons. Gary Woodland's emotional win in Houston and Alex Fitzpatrick's win in India. We also ask ourselves if golfers nowadays can be too nonchalant. So stay tuned for that. As always, this podcast does contain explicit language, but we hope you enjoy the podcast. Hello and welcome back to the EMJ PGA podcast. This is episode 18. We are fast approaching one of the biggest weeks in golf. I'm super keen for it. Sitting there today, knowing about what we're going to speak about in this week's podcast. Very much Masters themed, especially the later we go during the week, and it's fast approaching. It feels like it's come up really, really fast. But having second thoughts about it, we've actually had quite a few big events to the lead up. So I hope you guys are all in the golfing frame of mind, ready for the Masters in a week's time. As you can see, for those of you watching, Ben Hartshorn joins us back from his holiday, from his week hiatus over in sunny Greece. Ben Hartshorn, welcome back to the podcast.
Hello, thank you very much. I'm back. I've returned. I've been excited to come back on. I saw one of my colleagues slash friends, Barrett, was sort of taking my mantle in my place last week, and I thought he performed pretty well. But I've had a good in-depth analysis of his performance since that, and he sort of understood how difficult it can be to speak into a camera and to articulate your words. So yeah, proud to be back and ready to go as we're like hunting down Masters week.
Yeah, hunted it down. It's fast approaching. I'm super keen for it. Super keen for it. And we'll talk about this probably a bit later on. We're going to do some predictions for the upcoming Texas Open. We're obviously not going to do our Masters predictions today. We're going to have a look back in future podcasts. This is at what we predicted in our very first podcast. We predicted the major winners. And obviously, when it comes to Masters picks times, we'll have a little look at how they differ. But feels a bit weird because I'm locked and loaded with my picks. It feels like it. There's one slight problem which we might come on to in this podcast, but I'm really quite set on what I think is going to happen in this Masters. Now, obviously, I'm very liable to be completely wrong, but just been thinking about it a lot today, and I can really sort of visualize the Masters that I see coming. Have you maybe got some thoughts in your head for what's going to happen at the Masters?
I was just thinking about it, and no, not really. I will head into the week, and it will change day by day. But no, I think it's you say I think it's up in the air because of just certain players, the big players' form, and I think obviously we did discuss briefly about who you think will do well this week, and but yeah, I don't know. I think it's a bit up in the air with because of Scheffler's form and McIlroy's form and some of the guys that have played well this season, but.
Yeah, you are right. I do think that it's one of those years where it might be the most open in a couple of years for an out there winner, and we'll talk about the Masters as we said in future podcasts. We'll try not to do too much here today, even though I desperately want to. But yeah, the Masters can throw up a random champion, and it feels like this is one of the years where that might be the case. But I've got feelings otherwise to that. I feel like we're still going to get the cream of the crop that rises come next week. There's one more week of golf between now and our week of glory, and throughout that week we'll be getting you prepared. There's going to be lots of content coming your way on the podcast accounts, covering all things Augusta National, which we are looking forward to. But today's podcast is the Tuesday podcast, and this is the review of all things last week, both on tour and in the news. And yeah, I mean, Ben left for Greece. To be fair, this did happen when he came back, but Ben left for Greece, and this was in the weekend sort of gap where we don't record any podcasts. There isn't much content coming out. It always goes a bit quiet over the weekend. We're all there watching the golf until certain headlines hit our screens. And I was done with coaching on Friday evening, and I got back to my car to see fellow co-host Ollie Barrett put in our chat. Have you seen what's gone on? And me go, what are we talking about here? And then opening my phone to obviously the carnage that ensued. Um, Tiger Woods is back. And he was bad. I mean, this is the thing. There was so much going on in regards to Tiger. It felt like we had a little bit of a spike in Tiger goings on. We obviously had his appearance at TGL, of which I didn't watch him hit a shot, but I saw that his side lost in that final. So that was that, but he was hitting golf balls, and I had a little look at his swing. Sorry, so I did watch him hit a shot because I looked at his swing briefly, and I thought, oh, I don't know how it looks. I don't know how good it how good it looks to me. And then I also saw a clip of Donald Trump on one of the news outlets in America, basically giving away that he wasn't going to be playing in the Masters, and then that sort of got my hopes down. But then I didn't know if it was a trick, like that sort of like that oil price sort of scandal where like it basically a couple of hours or a couple of minutes before he declares the war, someone makes a massive purchase. So I thought it might be a little bit of one of those. So I was still holding out hope. Next thing you know, he's uh he's sideways parallel to the road in his car because he's flipped it on his way to and from the golf club. I presume he was hard at practice, but he's obviously been practicing too hard, too locked in, and he's flipped his car. And Ben, your reaction to that?
Yeah, I it's very sad to see. I mean, we've obviously laughed at the memes all week, and they've been some of the funniest things I've ever seen. And again, like it's a sixth or seventh crash, and it's a strong record to have and not be dead. I'll give him that. But no, absolutely awful to see. Gutting. I mean, yeah, he was at TGL, but it felt like he got forced play TGL. He didn't actually play that badly, I don't think, from what I saw. I did watch some of it live. They did lose Jupiter Links to McIlroy's team, but yeah, gutting to see the guy obviously cannot drive. I think, I mean, he'd been done with for obviously under substance DUI, so he could be in a bit of trouble. Obviously, I've seen some ridiculous Trump tweets. Obviously, he's going out with Trump's. I don't think it's his daughter, is it? It's some sort of relative. Trump will back Tiger Woods, but it's not a good look for Tiger. He's just looks. I look at him in his photos, and he just looks so fucked in the face. He looks tired, like he just looks shattered. He is just forcing himself through. And some of the pictures have been ridiculous, but the guy can't keep out the news. But again, whatever he does makes I think the hardcore Tiger Woods fandom like love him more, and I can't love him more for drinking and driving under the influence. But I just think like this guy is just an incredible human being, and some of the things he's been through. And again, it's just another leaf of his ridiculous. But there will be a ridiculous film made about Tiger Woods one day, a rerun of his life, like you've had with your pop stars and your sort of Presleys and your Elton Johns. There'll be one about Tiger Woods, and it'll be an incredible film. Some of the shit he's done. So yeah, gutting, and we will not see him at the Masters. I'll put it out there now. He will not be there.
No, I mean it'll take some sort of I don't even know, but he's still in the field. He hasn't withdrew just
Yeah.
yet, so he's still in there. Um, and we could only hope for sort of a Scheffler-esque performance straight
Mm.
out of the county jail onto the
Mm.
first tee near enough. And Tiger teeing it up and plodding his way around there. And I think we've had this discussion before, is that we all want to see it just for like the ridiculous story of it, but like obviously the quality of golf we're gonna see, I don't know how much quality we're gonna get dished out from Tiger Woods. But having said that, Fred Couples can shoot 69 round Augusta
Mm.
any given Sunday, and every single time he pegs it up there. So it's gonna be a yearly thing until he literally can't
No.
walk. Tiger Woods will be pegging it up and looking forward to Masters Week. But yeah, you're completely right. He's one of these people that like you just can't tell him that you can't do something. Like, and that
Yeah.
includes driving. That clearly
Mm.
includes driving because if you say you can't come back, mate, like don't do this. Like you're gonna have to take ridiculous amount of painkillers. Tiger, you can't like you have taken quite a lot of painkillers. Like don't be driving home, and then Tiger, you can't overtake this massive truck like on around this blind corner. Like he will do it, and he is absolutely like you can't hook it round this tree. You can't overtake this car. Some things are more dangerous than others
Mm.
around here, and I wish our guy would realise that. Um, yeah, Tiger still in the Masters field. You say he's not going to tee it up. Do you know what? I'm not even going to rule it out because for the exact same reason. Like someone saying you can't play in the Masters, Tiger, and watch him limp up there and just get, get ready. and hit the lowest, nastiest cut off that foot that carries like 180 and just scampers up there. He just limps off there, like off the back of his crash. He's not even hurt off the back of the crash.
No.
So we can still hold out hope. He's not hurt. That's the main thing that we take from all
Well,
this.
from his crash, I mean, he seemed to have moved like about 15 yards because the picture I've got is like his overturned Range Rover and then like him just like hugging the bush over on the side, which was the most random thing I've ever seen. So he's obviously scampered over there, and then he's obviously being arrested. I don't know if he was trying to run off, but that was the most random photo ever. Like him just like half like stood in a bush, like to the side of the crash. I thought just like every photo I saw from that incident, like he just looks like completely out of it. But yeah, again, we if Tiger Woods is teeing up, we'll be up for it. And as we do every year, I mean, we've spent years in Barcelona. We've been the last 5 years at the Masters. He's probably played three of them, isn't he? The last five or four of them, and he
Yeah.
and we've watched him on the Thursday, and he often shoots level par on the Thursday and gives you a bit of hope, and then he'll normally stink it out on Friday, definitely stink it out on a Saturday when his body is just on absolute ropes. But you know, if he makes an early birdie, which he never does up the first, but if he makes an early birdie, which you can do on two and go one under through two, like we'll suddenly think, oh my fucking god. And he's done it to us so many times in the last 5 years. But yeah, it's incredible, really. I think it's absolutely incredible. No other high level athlete is doing what Tiger Woods does, even now in his fucking 50s. So yeah,
Yeah.
fair play.
And yeah, he walks and he moves like I said about Fred Couples earlier. Like Fred Couples, most fluid golfer I've ever seen.
Mm,
Like he walks and he moves, and we talk like he's like 74, but he is just about 50, isn't he? I think he's
mm,
bang on 50. And I
yeah,
mean, yeah, not that he's maybe in the prime of his career, but I've seen many a healthy 50-year-old and they don't move like that. I mean, it
no,
just looks like you can almost hit, like, I reckon when you stand next to him, you can hear him walking just from like all the things in his body, like just
yeah.
clinging together and like,
It
honestly,
like his
but as I said,
sorry, his legs work on a different sort of like spinal cord to his body, and like his hips
yeah,
move, and his shoulder, like his whole shoulder move when he walks. Like he's literally put together by metal and almost by wood. He is just it just looks awful.
he does. So that's all the more reason for us to want to see him teared up because well,
Yeah,
I just want to see if he can like make the cut. Like, can you make the
yeah,
cut, and
yeah,
can you get out of jail and make the cut? That would be one of the most ridiculous things. And just know that when we're giving you content over the weekend, we are trying our best to watch the top of the leaderboard, but we will
yeah,
be watching
yeah.
every shot that guy hits, every single shot that guy hits, and yeah, we'll catch up with the
And
leaders later when he's finished on
sorry,
Sunday. That's when we'll catch up with. He finishes on Sunday, yeah, and we'll just the leaders will just be about turning into the seventh on Sunday, and we'll catch up with them then.
My last
Um,
point. My last point on
um,
Tiger is my last point on Tiger is like he'll be six over after being like one under on Thursday or on Friday, and I'll still be like it'll kind of spin to Tiger on the TV, and I'll still like shit myself over the shot, and he's six over, like he's limped up to his ball, and I'll still be unbelievably nervous over that shot. And we'll
yeah,
absolutely be up for it. And then when he's 20 over, walking up Sunday, like literally crawling up to the 18th green, like we'll have our eyes on that.
it's a big walk up to 18 on Sunday for
Yeah,
Tiger. I think he won't want to see that hill when he gets to it.
no,
He won't want to get down to the bottom of that 18th on Sunday.
absolutely not.
But we will see. We will see. Tiger, please don't get behind the wheel between
Mm,
now and next Thursday, and just give us at least a prayer. Get all the things tidied up legally, and give us a prayer of seeing you teared up because the story and the way that we will cover it will be like none other. Okay, PJ Tour review. This is our job on Tuesday is to give you a review, an honest review, an analytical but balanced review of the weekend. To be honest, I didn't watch it from start to finish on Sunday, and I obviously kept up with it day by day. Um, it was one of those where I tuned in actually at a time where the tournament was all but done, but I wanted to get a feel for the golf tournament. I wanted to get a feel for the golf course. I watched highlights throughout the week, and then I tuned in for the last would have been 7 holes or so on Sunday night. Gary Woodland, feel good win for all the reasons that everybody has reported recently. There's been some really interesting stories come out regarding his health and stuff like that, and I'm sure you can find those readily available to you. But for me at least, it was a bit of a bit of a blast back to the childhood a little bit, because Gary Woodland was one of these players who, again, not it feels like a long time ago, but then it also doesn't feel like a long time ago when you see him winning on TV. He was one of these people where growing up throughout school, you'd always see him up there. He was a really, and it still is obviously, a really solid PJ Tour player. Um, I this is going to be very, very harsh, but like if I was brutally explaining him, it's Brooks Koepka off Wish. It's just a massive guy with quite broad shoulders hitting a power fade the whole way round,
Mm.
and just hoping to get on the odd heater, and that's what he did. And fair play to Gary Woodland, because it's been about 7 years since he picked up his win at Pebble Beach in the US Open. He hasn't won since then. He's been through an absolute hell of a lot away from the golf course. Came back too early, admittedly, and is still struggling out there. And when you can struggle and win a PGA Tour event at a canter, that's pretty impressive, if you ask me. Did you catch much of Gary Woodland in Houston?
And yeah, I did. I said to you earlier, like, oh, I didn't watch any of it. I did actually watch bits of it. I watched quite a bit on Friday night. I had a very quiet, and he was leading then, and I actually watched him for like 4 hours where he was like stuttering and he was doing all sorts of random shit, but he's managed to pull through. And unlike every other player that led into a Sunday this season, he held on to it. He shot like a solid 3 under, and he got on a heater. Like I was looking at his heater on in round four from five till nine, where he made 4 birdies. That's what you're meant to do. And yeah, in the back nine he held on, but that's absolutely fine. You've actually done something on the final day there, Gary Woodland.
Not
For for a feel good win, yeah, and destroying a fairly strong PJ Tour field with a lot of informed players. And again, if he is suffering PTSD, all sorts to be going on in his head. Shoot 20 on 1 under over 4 days of PJ Tour event shows you've still got a game. And again, we like little anecdotes about different players. I watched him at St Andrews like 5 years ago on the range, and I just thought like he is Brooks Koepka with the big shoulders, but he strokes the ball like he's quite shallow into it, and he proper flicks his club back. And I thought he was quite pretty to watch, Gary Woodland. He wasn't playing well then, and it was before probably he had his cancer and all of that awful thing. But yeah, like I'm very, very happy for him. It seems like a nice guy, a proper guy. Again, in the Tiger Woods era, a bit older. So yeah, if it's his last hurrah, fair play to him. It's a great week.
Yeah, and he said straight afterwards, and it's always interesting to hear players speak like this when you go, oh, but you might not think they're in the prime of their career or playing the best golf they've ever
Mm,
played, but obviously the players know themselves the best. He said straight
mm,
after, this is the best golf I've ever
mm,
played, and he's clearly been in good form. Maybe just hasn't put it together for a full week, but he put it together there. What can we learn from his golf swing? As we said, power fader, really high left elbow through impact. If you watch him, is one of the most noticeable. Um, so that helps him keep the face open through impact, and he doesn't want to see that ball going left. It's going to start left, and he does not want to see that ball going straight, ideally, or turning over to the left, which would be even worse. So he holds that face open like a lot of amateurs do. And if what a lot of people that I work with as well, they're obviously everyone's trying to hit that, or maybe accidentally trying to hit that left to right, that big slice. What people need to realize is if you set up correctly and your weight distribution's correct in your feet, you're not too toe biased in your feet in your setup, that allows you to turn your body more. Gary Woodland's not a massive hip turn guy, but he's definitely a very a core rotational sort of based body turner. And he makes a really nice slow and deliberate upper body turn on the way back for him to then fire his upper body really quickly on the way through. And it's that upper body rotation on the way through that controls his start line, because he does it really, really quick. You don't see that massive separation like you would have seen with a Cam Young, for instance, that separation between the lower and the upper body. It's very connected. It means that that start line is always to the left of his target. And then, as I said, that high left elbow, late
mm,
release helps the ball to the right hand side of the fairway. He's up to fifth in strokes gained off the tee now, so he absolutely dominates tee shots. hitting that high fade most of the way round. He can shape the golf ball, but that's mostly when he's hitting those little punch shots off the tee. You're not likely to see a big bomb draw from Gary Woodland off with the big stick. So very, very good from Gary Woodland. And then the last thing on his swing as well, the tempo. So this is a trap that I can fall into in
Mm.
my own game. For years, I've always been someone to take the club back really, really slow. And the last couple of months, I've really tried to go, okay, let's see if I can add a little bit more of a 50-50 sort of tempo feeling, like a little bit of a quicker takeaway, just to make it a bit more of a fluid motion. But watching Gary Woodland, it kind of reminds me that I always used to base it off of Matsuyama's takeaway. Matsuyama's quite very, very slow in his takeaway, but I kind of like the way that it's a nice sort of slow, almost like an archery bow feel, where it's load, 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 turn, turn, turn into that right side, and then release as fast as you can on the way through. I think there's definitely something to be said for that because it gives you a bit more time to turn your body on the way back if you do it a little bit slower. So I think that's another thing that you can take away from Gary Woodland's golf swing. And as you said, heater on Sunday. He got the putter really, really hot. We spoke about this, and we're going to talk about this in just a moment when it comes to the DP World Tour. But when you're holding on to a lead, it's so hard to keep your foot on the gas. It's so hard not to go, oh, I'm just going to cozy every putt up to the hole. I feel like this has been a massive part. As you made a fantastic point there. Every PGA Tour leader after 54 holes has been bottling it, and Gary Woodland stands there, up and coming player in Nicolai Højgaard, who's having a really solid year, and goes, no, not today. I'm going to have a really solid round of golf. I'm going to get on the heater with the putter. I'm going to hole some long putts.
Mm.
First hole, he holds like a 15 foot of a par on Sunday, and if that doesn't go in, who knows what happens? So fair play to Gary Woodland. Shows
Mm.
some proper ball sacks like he's done in other areas of his life, and gets the job done. And as I said, I turned it on just to sit, just to enjoy the moment because it was a proper nice moment for him to win there. Um, Contenders, we just touched on Nicolai Højgaard. He's having an under the radar year. Um, I mean, again, it's clear that when the course sets up a certain way for him on tour, and he can sort of bully his golf ball the way round there, big high draw of the golf ball, absolutely twats it around the golf course. He can have good weeks. Nicolai Højgaard, among others in contention. Like we'll talk about others in just a moment, but a note on Højgaard, Ben. Like, do you fancy him for Ryder Cup potentially?
Did he go to the last Ryder Cup? Was his brother?
He didn't go to the.
Mm.
He didn't go to the last Ryder Cup.
No, I
No, but he
think
went to the one before that.
Yeah, Rasmus went to the last one and struggled, didn't he? Nikolai, yeah, Nikolai did well
Yeah,
in Rome, I remember. Yeah, good player.
yeah,
Come off the DP World Tour and doing well. I don't know where is his brother. I presume his brother's in there as well somewhere. Is he? Anyway, whatever.
yeah.
But
Brother,
that
he's like his brother finished 25th or something.
oh right, amazing. Now they're both on the PGA Tour. But yeah, good player, Nikolai Højgaard. And it's a solid week. But he's been beaten by four great rounds by Woodland. Um, where
Yeah,
obviously Højgaard on Sunday shot 71, so didn't quite get on the heater that he probably wanted. Shot over par, so one of them.
yeah. It was one of those where he couldn't keep it up. Obviously, I think it was a definitely he realised that Woodland was out ahead of him, and then it became probably a little bit of a battle for solo
Mm.
second. Which he did pick up in the end. He missed a short one on 18 to despite all that to pick it up. Minwoo Lee. I mean, again, why are we noting these players? Why are we talking about random players? Well, in case you fancy a little outside each way bet, we want to talk about players that are in form. If you hear us mention our name on the podcast, it probably means that they're playing some half decent golf at the moment. So,
Mm.
if provided they're teeing it up week after next at Augusta, these are players that you might want to be making a note of. Minwoo Lee, won last time, third this year. Another good week for Minwoo Lee. Minwoo Lee, random question: do you think he ever wins a major championship? Minwoo Lee.
No, no, I think he's the
No.
Tony Finau of the more Eastern looking players.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Do you know what? I think that's a bit harsh because he won the Houston Open last year, and obviously
Mm.
Finau. It's funny now. I don't really give a toss about Finau. Now.
This is Jank.
But yeah, yeah, yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. He
That's
has been
why.
struggling a little bit of late, Finau. But when he burst onto the scene, I remember him doing a piece with Sky Sports on the 2017 Open Championship at Birkdale. He did a piece with Sky Sports, and I thought, who's this cool-looking American Don who's absolutely massive and hits the ball miles with a three-quarter backswing? And I thought this guy's unbelievable. So I got on the bandwagon properly, and he notoriously just couldn't win an event. Now Minwoo Lee, You could say similar because he's only picked up one win, but I'd say that I mean, I always remember it was the Puerto Rico Open that Finau had to his name, like early on in his PJ Tour career, and everyone was kind of like, "Oh, but that doesn't really count." And I was like, "It's a bit harsh on him," but you know, Minwoo Lee has won a bigger tournament than that, and he puts himself there and thereabouts. I think he can get it done. I mean, he nearly won at Pebble, didn't he? He almost got
Yeah.
it done at Pebble. Um, Major
Uh,
championship's a good question. I feel like it's right on that 50-50. But I
mm.
feel like he'll probably pick up a good few more wins than Tony Finau. I feel like he's a bit of a level above.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. I just think, yeah, but I think he's no different to when Fino came on tour. I mean, Minwoo Willie does fucking smack that ball, and his speed is unbelievable. And Minwoo Lee, like as you said about Fino, like he just did a random video with like Shilesy at what's the fucking course in Scotland on the East Coast? Kings
Not Berwick.
Barnes, Kings Barnes, Kings Barnes. He did it at Kings Barnes. If you remember the video, and like that,
Yeah,
no one knew about him then. He was just coming on to like the European tour, and like he was unbelievable. And Shields, said at the time, like this guy's unfucking believable. And to be fair, he's been turned out to be
yeah.
right. And you know what? He will be again. He swings the ball like Zalatoris or Zalatoris or whoever the fuck that is. And Zalatoris has had like
From
two
Happy
or
Gilmore.
three. Yeah, from Happy Gilmore, two or three second places on majors, and I just think Mimuli will give it a go, but I just don't see a type of course that he actually like will win at. I just can't picture it yet. But hopefully he will because he's a good guy. I think.
The Open for me. I think the
Do you
Open's his
reckon?
best shout.
Mm.
I think, yeah, I reckon so. I just picture him there, like getting blown to fuck with his mullet brushing his background and then visors on. Like I can just see him getting on a bit of a heat the weekend, at some random venue when the weather's proper shite. I can see Minwoo Lee maybe picking up a little Open or something like that, and I would be keen for that because he's a hell of a character. But another solid week for him, like
Mm.
quality as well. He was walking up the last hole and he was sort of like getting the fans up for Woodland as he was sort of walking up to the green. So I've got a lot of time for Minwoo Lee.
Yeah.
And yeah, so really, really good. It'd be good to see him pick up a major. So if you are following the leaderboard down, you're going to think, oh, we're going to go through some names. I am going to skip over some names that ultimately they're not really that big of names. All right. I'm pretty sure there's a couple in there that we're going to skip over. I just want to go to a player here because obviously I've got a bit of an allegiance to him. Michael Thorbjornsson. Right, let's talk about combinations that don't work, okay? I mean I actually can't think of any. Like Mustard and Marmite, what are they? Like Greg Norman and Sundays, and
Chicken and
then
eggs.
Michael Thorbjornsson. Yeah, chicken and egg. Yeah, but technically they go together though. What's a combination that doesn't
Yeah,
work together when you put them together? Like
like
bleach and pubic. Like
like
what one?
black and navy often.
Yeah, black and navy. Yeah. Um, let's do one more. Let's do one
I
more.
was
What other things don't go together? Like
um like
can't think.
things that don't go together. Like often um like obviously some people would
Let's do
say
colours
like
again. Like
oh like orange and yellow or
yeah, yeah,
often
yeah. Literally, that's exactly what I was thinking.
often
That's
pink.
we can
I don't really
pink
know.
and pink. I mean, don't really know. I was thinking of some more creative. I should have thought of some more creative things for
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Because we can add to the list. I said Greg Norman and Sundays, but Michael Thor Bjornsson and Sundays, in particular Sunday afternoon. Um, because he's an unbelievable player until it gets to Sunday. Like I tune in and I'm keeping track and I'm trying my best to keep track of it. Even if I'm not watching, I'm hole by hole. I'm refreshing the leaderboard. I'm checking what's going on. And I see Michael Thor Bjornsson. Don't get me wrong. I think he started the day 5 shots off the lead.
Mm,
It might have even been more off the back of Woodland. So you know that you're gonna have to do a good bit of work. But and he'll be the one thinking this more than me. But post a number, Michael. You're not even in the final group. You can't even make that excuse like you could for the players. He got in the lead in Phoenix. He didn't. He decided he didn't want it. I'll let him off. It was his first proper go.
mm,
Um, it's my understanding that I don't think he's won on tour, and I need to fact check that. But I don't think he's won on tour, including all the sort of mini events and Corn Ferry that he could have been eligible to play. Um, and it just never seems to happen for him. And Yeah, shoots 2 over par on Sunday, just immediately drops back to 11 over par, like to start the round, and then sort of couldn't really get it going from there. And yeah, I just thought that was disappointing because I was there ready to sort of watch him in contention maybe, and it just
Mm.
didn't seem to happen. Like, what do you reckon it is when it comes to Thor Bjornsson? Like psychologically, as I said, you like your Bob Rotella books and stuff like that. Like psychologically, Michael Thor Bjornsson on Sundays, unbelievable player, and I think he's got such a bright future, but it's just not clicking for him at the moment. You'd think after 2 or 3 goes he'd sort of get it.
Might still be Bjornsson. From what I can remember of sort of his scorecards look like when they on those 3 rounds. You're talking at Phoenix, you're talking at the players, and you're talking this week. I mean, I just looked at his scorecard for Sunday. Again, he made a double on 8 after making an early birdie, so he got off to the start he wanted. Obviously, at the players, he made a really horrendous. Then you make a quadruple on like the fourth, and then Phoenix, he actually did get quite far, didn't he? And then he hit the ball in the water through the last 3 or 4 holes. So actually, like, there's a range of issues there. From my, again, very, very brief knowledge of golf, I read both Bob Rotella books. I would say he is obviously deep in his own mind. Once it happens, once it's hard to get out of your mind. I don't, you know what? I don't really know. He's that good. I mean, when you're that good, you just got to trust your swing and trust your instincts. And maybe he's not doing so. Um, or maybe he's just a very sporadic player. Obviously, he twats the ball around, and he's making mistakes under the most pressure. Is he trying to maybe what you're saying? He's doing the absolute opposite, except for like instead for playing it safe, he's going the absolute other way and he's trying to force it through way too much. And these where the mistakes are coming. I would argue is probably that he is trying too hard, way too hard, and he's making big mistakes. I don't really know, but yeah, it's obviously playing on his mind a bit, and it's now a consistent issue for him. But I'm sure he'll be on the phone to Bob Rotella or someone similar to try and pave those out.
Yeah, yeah, it'll come for Thor Bjornsson. And little thing as well, because I was going to mention him, so it's my route into mentioning him in this podcast. Like, obviously, this was probably just before um you started picking up the game of golf and stuff like that. But it is
Mm,
remarkable to see. I mean, I found out who Michael Thorbjornsen was not long after I found out who Carl Phillips was. And those of you
mm,
eagle-eyed PJ Tour super fans will recognise Carl Phillips. He had a really, really good week this week. He actually made a triple bogey from on the green this week. You might have seen it on PJ Tour's
yeah.
feed. They took the piss out of him a bit because he putted it off the green and then knocked it around a whole load and made a triple there, which sort of stalled his week. He was going really, really well. But Carl Phillips is this Australian kid who spent pretty much the whole of his youth in America, and he was just this super kid who would be like he'd be like 12 shooting like 7 under par, and his dad would go round on YouTube following him round, and he had his own YouTube and stuff like that.
Mm.
So ever since I was about 14, 15, yeah, ever since I was about 14, 15, I've followed his career, which is like mad, and it was always the thing. He's going to be on the PJ Tour. It's going to be on the PJ Tour, and I'm a similar age to him, so obviously doesn't make me feel old, but it's like, oh my goodness, like been watching this guy for ages. But anyway, his best mate through the whole of that was Michael Thorbjornsen. They went to college together at Stanford. Um, and so I followed Michael Thorbjornsen for a long time, and and they've done a video together with TaylorMade, and I haven't watched all of it yet. It's you win a hole and you take a club out of each other's bag and stuff like
Mm.
that. And the one thing to say is they absolutely chopped it round, like unbelievably. Like I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Like that, like bogeys was winning holes and stuff like that. It was mental. They were like three whacking. He was like there was one part that I literally just watched where he's like putting 50 foot back up a steep slope. He genuinely fats his putt and it comes back down past his feet. And I'm like, what the hell am I looking at? This is Thor Bjornsson. This is Thor Bjornsson. And but the one thing I can say in his favour, and you say about trying too hard, like I do agree, but it's a combination of that and also having almost too much of a good mindset because he'll hit
Yeah.
like bad shots and he's the poster boy for reacting to a bad shot in terms of and the same with Aberg is like no reaction, nothing whatsoever, almost like a smirk to himself, like when you hit a bad one. And at what point does it go the other way? At what point do you go, hang on a minute, we've got to actually like, if you want to have a really solid career, you want to know what a win feels like. And if you want to know what a win feels like, we've got to lock in a little bit more here. We can't really be pissing around, like hitting bad shots and making doubles and then walking back to your caddy and laughing about it. There might have to be an element of seriousness that goes on here. And I just wonder whether it's a mix of trying too hard, but then also all having the quote unquote perfect way of reacting to a bad shot that just means you're just too lackadaisical and don't really see
Don't
danger until you're sort of in it at the last second.
I think the greatest golf of all time is a great example. Like Tiger Woods wasn't like you're saying Aberg and these guys are like this is where they should react to a golf shot. Tiger would get fucking fuming. He'd get fuming, and
Yeah,
you often
yeah,
there's so many memes of Tiger like shouting at his ball in midair. But obviously, the thing Tiger had was
yeah,
the absolute disgusting belief that he's going to go and put it right in the next hole. Well, I don't think they have that belief, but then they just fanny about over
no,
their shot they've just hit badly anyway. So sort of they're in the middle where they obviously they don't go and then the next shot go and make it right because I don't know because they haven't reacted that badly to it because surely adrenaline builds when you hit a bad shot and maybe for them it does but it doesn't seem like it does and I think that was always Tiger's thing wasn't it like he and maybe Rory at the Masters last year that adrenaline and that emotion that builds inside you often helps maybe with the next shot if you can channel it. And
yeah.
those guys seem to be just fucking fanny farting about and laughing and maybe not believing in themselves for the next shot and to go and to carry on because they're fucking hitting consistent mistakes and bad shots. So how can it be working?
Yeah, no, and do you know what? We might need to start a segment on this show and just go, let's have a look at the nonchalant golfer and see how they're doing. Like, we
Mm.
might need to make a new award, nonchalant golfer of the week, because if one of them wins, I'd be shocked. Like
Yeah.
Aberg, we love Aberg, but there's got to be an element of like, come on, like let's show a bit of anger after a bad shot. Let's
Mm.
yeah, and on Sunday, like let's not be slamming our clubs around on Thursday morning
Mm.
after we pull one slightly into the rough. But on Sunday, let's lock in and let's go and win
Mm.
the golf tournament instead of like
Mm.
this. Oh my God, dude! I've just fed up my putt, man. Like, don't worry, it's like I've just made double and we're four back now, but
Mm.
it's all right, man. Like, let's keep fuming. Like, let's get it going. I'm sick of it, and well, no, I'm not sick of it because I want to show it to my
No.
players and I want to go, this is how you react when things are ultimate, when the shit is hitting the fan the most. This is how you react. But then again, this clearly isn't how you react if you want to win a golf tournament. So, yeah. And it's just something to maybe note. And watch flipping Aberg's teeing it up this week and watch him go and piss to a victory. But yeah, just
Mm.
something to look out for because as a Thor Bjornsson fan, I just want him to lock in a little bit more. But anyway, um, spent a lot longer on Thor Bjornsson than I probably planned to there. But
Yeah.
anyway, otherwise, solid weeks for Jake Knapp, who we're going to mention in just a second. He's back. Shuraban Yelamaraju, another fantastic weekend week for him. He's on a heater right now. I looked at his odds for this week, and he's like 10th favourite or something, Yelamaraju.
Hey.
So yeah, unbelievable. He's a good field as
Yeah.
well. Jason Day played well. Chris Gottschalk played well, and your guy Sahith Theegala had a good week as well. Worth noting, he likes a bit of a go at the Masters. Sahith.
Yeah, he does. He's had some good rounds with the Masters. He's a solid player, Steve. He's just a very solid mid-level 2AJ tour player, which is all credit to him. Um, and I hope Yala Majaju does the same. So fair play to both of those players. Good players.
If you're listening, Shuraban, that apologies if that wasn't quite how you get your name, but we're getting better as we go here. Okay, over to the BP World Tour. Obviously, you might look at those and hopefully 37 minutes or so into the podcast, you're thinking how much time are the lads going to spend on the Hero Indian Open? I want to spend a good bit of time on it, not a ridiculous a load of time, but I do actually want to spend a good bit of time on it because firstly, the course looked unbelievable. And the people of Harborne Golf Club aren't going to thank me for this, okay? But Harborne Golf Club is a very, very good golf club situated in the middle of Birmingham, okay? And I will say that there's no connection by what I'm about to say here, okay? There's no like undertone connection because if you're listening, you're gonna go, "Oh, I wonder why he's saying this," okay? But all I'm trying to say is, right, at Harborne, that's right in the middle of suburban Birmingham, okay? And it gives it quite a cool look, all right. But on a couple of holes, you've got massive housing blocks that overlook some of the greens. So you're hitting in, and sometimes you go, okay, it's off the right side of that block of flats and stuff like that. Well, at the Indian Open, DLP, the golf course was called, there was loads of it. Like I genuinely thought this is like Harborne because I was looking at some of the tee shots and looking at off the back of the greens and going, that reminds me of hitting some approach shots in there, and and doing that. Obviously, there wasn't a load of tigers and whatever the hell was in the jungle knocking around Harborne. If there was, I would have absolutely lost my shit. But and it would probably make it more interesting. I don't know whether the membership fees would go up or down at Harborne if there was a few tigers prowling around. But
Mm.
anyway, yeah, decent looking golf course, and I don't know if you caught the speed of the greens, and but they looked rapid just from watching it on the little social media post that the DP World Tour put up. I think it was Martin Couvra playing a few holes, and they looked lightning quick, and it showed in the scoring. Because 9 under par took the victory, and it was Alex Fitzpatrick who got the win just after his brother did over in Florida. Did you catch much of it from the Indian Open, Benjamin?
No, I didn't. I knew they were playing in India, um, and I knew I had seen some pictures of the course which looked cool. And again, the scoring on the DP is unbelievable. They're playing tough golf courses. I mean, I know they spend a lot of time in Africa and southern part of Africa, but amazing how the courses are playing and how they're setting them up. And yeah, hence why again your Højgaards, your guys who are coming straight off the DP World Tour are doing well on the PGA Tour because they're playing fucking tough courses. And again,
Yeah,
we've got to do justice. Again, an Englishman winning, which is fantastic. Alex Fitzpatrick, again, always probably been in shadow of his older brother, is a hell of a golfer. And to win a
unbelievable.
proper tournament like that, fair play to him. And what a family they are. I mean, Matt Fitzpatrick's a proper geek, but Alex seems like he's got a bit more aura about him, a bit more coolness. And I hope Alex Fitzpatrick had a little run at the Open before, and I hope he has another run and he gets onto the PGA Tour next year because that would be fucking cool. And again, shooting 69 the final day was good. So yeah, fair play to him.
So we'll talk a bit more about Alex Fitzpatrick in a moment because I want to ask you a couple of questions. But first of all, a bit of justice for Matt Fitzpatrick. Obviously, he was the basis of the first film room episode that we did last week. But in between that, he's been called a neek by Barra and a geek by you. And I just want to clarify that us at the EMJPJ podcast don't necessarily, and especially me as the person making this, I because again, what's the goal for this? We want to get an interview with these players. I don't think you're a neat or a geek, Matt. I think you're a fantastic golfer, and he's actually, as I said, for the millionth time on this podcast, I've actually shared a brief conversation with Matt Fitzpatrick. So for that
Mm.
reason, I have a bit of a soft spot for Matt, and yeah, no, fair play to Matt. But we're talking about Alex. We're talking about Alex. As I said, we're not talking about Matt here now. We're talking about Alex. Alex Fitzpatrick, obviously, you said he shot 3 under par. That is only half of the story. I'm telling you that now because I mean, unbelievable. And we're gonna transition on to our awards in just a minute, without giving sort of some of my thoughts away. But but yeah, I mean, he beats Eugenio Chikara, who for the most of the front nine looked solid. I mean, he was shaky, but he was holding clutch par putts. He was making up and downs. His tee to green wasn't ridiculously horrific. He was hitting decent approach shots here and there. Um, so through 9 holes of the final round on Sunday, you're thinking that Shakara is probably going to take home the victory. Really, again, another Spanish player with very very good feel around the greens, really good touch, and you're thinking he's going to take it home, which is probably what you need for a firm, fast golf course over there. But it wasn't to be because Alex Fitzpatrick, from hole 6 to hole 17, on a golf course where, as you correctly said, the winning score was 9 under par, decides to make 8 birdies in those 11 holes and one
Mm.
bogey. Okay, and I just put in my notes like, Chikara got overwhelmed by the Fitzpatrick heater. Because when you and they were paired in the same group, you're playing with the guy who's sort of burst up from the pack, and the guy just did not miss anything inside 25 foot for that stretch of holes. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, everything was catching the lip and going in, dead weight, fantastic. Green reading, unbelievable. As I said, tee to green into tight pin locations. It was absolutely dialed from Fitzpatrick. And I just wanted to ask you, like, this is what made the win even more impressive for me because, again, if you're leading a golf tournament, would you rather your nearest competitor be in the same group as you, or would you rather have them behind you and you not know what they're doing and have to check the leaderboard? Which one would you rather?
I I would rather I'd probably rather them be with me and playing with me, I would think. because you
Yeah,
surely be second guessing
yeah.
yourself constantly with them in different group.
I massively, massively agree, and I thought that's another note to make the win more impressive because yeah, you can refer back to what you're doing. You can make it a match play situation before it is in a weird way, even when you're sort of maybe still leading by 2 or 3 strokes, and you go, oh my goodness, right, this guy's going to be the one that I need to worry about. Okay, let's try and match his game. And to come from, I think it was 3 back that he started the day. It might have been 4 back actually, because Shakara started at 10 under, so I think it was 4 back. To come from 4 back and to dominate Shakara in the way that he did was
Mm.
absolutely fantastic. I thought it was brilliant, and he afforded himself a double bogey on 18, because he was 11 under par on 18, the par 5 18th, and he took as many shots as he needed. So fair play to Alex Fitzpatrick. Um,
Yeah.
and off the back of that performance, we are going to transition into our awards, because Benjamin Hartshorn's back off his holiday, and I'm sure he'll be keen to get back to his award-giving self. So we are going to go straight into the first of the 2 awards that we give out weekly, and the first of which is Heater of the Week. I'm so keen for this. Heater of the week. Heater of the week.
Heater of the week.
Heater of the week.
Around 260.
He's kind of on a heater.
And 9 under par, Sunday round 63.
One of my greatest heaters.
4 birdies in a row, 12 through 15, and then another one on 17 to seal the deal. He's bogey free, 63.
In terms of the heat of the heater, 62, 10 under par.
You are my heater of the week for this week.
Okay, we are back. Heater of the week. I will just say thank you very much last week to our friend Ollie Barrett, and for stepping in as co-host. If any of you saw or listened to him give out the heater of the week, he did understand and clarify why he gave his heater of the week, but there was one slight downfall with it. He gave his heater of the week, and he basically said, I don't think heater of the week should be one particular round. I think it should be on the tournament as a whole. And I go, well, that's fine, Barrett. That's fine, but there's one way to clarify who wins heater of the week every week, and that's just by looking at who wins the fucking tournament. So like, there's no real like special impetus behind the heater of the week when we just give it to the tournament winners. So well done to Barrett, but we want to just revise the heater of the week. So me taking back control of heater of the week, I do want to just clarify that. Having said that, I'm giving it to Alex Fitzpatrick because I was gonna give it to Jake Knapp for his 8 under par 62 bogey free round round the PGA Tour venue in Houston, but then I just thought, to win a golf tournament on a tough track, the winning scored 9 under par. You go 7 under par through 11 holes in the middle of your Sunday round when you're in the running. That deserves heater of the week for me. And the heater of the week doesn't also have to be an 18-hole stretch of golf. It can be a period on your card where you get on the heater. And I thought Alex Fitzpatrick summed that up perfectly. Other contenders, Nikolai Højgaard and Paul Waring, the Englishman, both shooting 7 under par over on the PGA Tour, but it didn't really come close. I actually thought it was quite a straightforward decision to give my heater of the week to Alex Fitzpatrick. So congratulations, Alex. You are my heater of the week. Benjamin, you're back in the throne. You're back in the seat, ready to make a golfer's week even worse by reminding them of how shocking they played the week before. You're looking forward to giving out your flop of the week and also do the honours for us as off the back of it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the flop of the week last week, which I understand was myself, given out by Barrett after the performance I put in, after not the worst performance, but a very bang average display I put in our round of golf. But again, it's a cop out from Barrett, not even looking into the world of golf and just seeing what he saw that day. But so yeah, I need to bounce back from being my own flop last week. Yeah, not that many awful scoring this week. Justin Lower on the PGA Tour played terribly. I like just take you around the golfing world, just see who's done really bad. Lucas Glover, a major winner with a +10 at the Houston Texas Open. On to in India again. They love allowing sort of residents to play in the DP World Tour events wherever they go in the corners of the world. And there was There was a 90. There was some very high 80s, an 87, 84 from Shubham Jaglan, which again, he must have. I don't know what that is even over. I mean, that must be in the 20s. Again, then about 8 to the bottom, sort of 12 players in India were Indians. Some of them amateurs, but fair play for them for playing. Marcus Armitage played terribly in India. Sean Crocker, Filippo Chieli. But yeah, anyway, Edouard Molinari was awful as well. So, but he's flop of the week, not heat of the week. I hope he'll be heat of the week very soon. It's more of a cry out from myself as sort of one of his biggest fans. It's been tough. It's been a tough season for Brooks, and again, this isn't like the most brutal like, heat of the week, flop of the week. You've done shit. Like you need to fucking take a long hard look. But like we're not happy with the way Brooks is playing. And this is more just like a warm sort of call out, being like, "Come on, Brooks. There's people out here who sort of want you to win." And again, he started his week all right. No, he didn't. He started his week all right. Yeah, he made a birdie on the second hole, and then made a birdie on the sixth. So he went 2 under. But then he decided to make 3 double bogeys in 5 holes, heading into the back 9 on that first day, and he never recovered. And it isn't good enough from Brooks. Bear in mind, I said to Ollie Barrett, the other co-host from last week, Brooks's tee to green was literally, I think he was best the last sort of 4 weeks on PGA Tour, maybe in the best this season, approaches to the green. So what the fuck is going on? What the actual fuck's going on? Because you told Brooks to start the season, you're going to be the best tee to green, you're the best approach. Like he probably thought, I'll be 3 PGA Tour events down and head into the Masters as favourite. He hasn't gone the top 10 yet. So his putting has been terrible. He's changed putter. I know he's changed putting coach. He obviously isn't getting up and down well enough. Maybe all sort of a result of a couple of years on live, 3 or 4 years on live, just not hitting that competitive edge. You know what? If he turns up for the Masters and does well, obviously all's forgotten. But this is just like a cry out for Brooks. We need to see better. Stop making so many double bogeys. I don't get what's going on. And sort your putting out. Maybe he has to go back to the Newport, but if so, he needs to do it quickly for the Masters because it hasn't been good enough. But again, Brooks has never been that good on the PGA Tour because he doesn't give that much of a fuck. But again, flop of the week, sadly, is Brooks Koepka.
And you know what? I'm impressed with you there. That is a thoroughly unbiased review because when you were skipping over the Dons in India, I thought if he doesn't give this to Koepka, I'm genuinely having stern words, either on camera or off camera, because there's only one standout from the leaderboard there. And do you know what? We're going to come on to my predictions in a moment, but he's made me look like a right knob there. That he's actually, for somehow, you being the biggest Brooks super fan, the week where you missed, and I think I'm going to nip in here, take advantage because he's on a hot streak. I've ended up with egg on my face thanks to Koepka's shit show, and I wish I was giving out flop of the week because he would have been the first name off my list. I wouldn't even mention them amateurs out in India. I was fuming with Brooks when I checked the leaderboard on Thursday. And that I'm pretty sure that's the first pick to miss a cut as well.
Wow.
So I'm not happy. And yeah.
Yeah.
But there we go. Flop of the week and heater of the week given out. Thank you for staying with us. We are going to briskly, not quickly, briskly preview the weekend of golf. Brisk. Briscoe. The briskly preview, get my words right, the weekend of golf coming up, the penultimate weekend of golf before the big Masters tournament. And it is the Valero Texas Open. My expectations for the field with this for this was low. Pleasantly surprised by the amount of people that want to get hopefully 72 holes under their belt before they tee it up in Augusta. You've obviously got the people that are desperately trying to qualify for Augusta. Michael Thorbjornsen, I made an initial note because I thought from his finishes on the PGA Tour so far this year, he will have qualified. Nope, he's not in there at the moment. So people like Thorbjornsen are desperately trying to qualify and get in. So there is a little bit of a scramble to get a tee time next weekend. So the field's good is basically what I'm trying to say, and we're looking forward to it. do you have any feeling? And obviously, you need to get back 1-1 when it comes to right predictions. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see who strikes next when it comes to a prediction. We've got no Scheffler. He withdrew. I think he's had his second child, so but no Scheffler last week. Obviously, no Scheffler again this week. But still, some good players to choose from nonetheless. Do you have a feel going into this week?
Yeah, I did, but I don't think the player I wanted is playing. No.
So I'll
Anyway,
pick
no.
it up whilst you have a look. Okay,
Go on then.
go on.
No, you go. You carry on.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll lead off then, whilst it gives Ben a bit of time to think, because he might be wondering if his players teeing it up, which is he'll clarify in just a moment. Okay, my picks. I feel a bit like one of these tipsters out here this week, and I always get burnt when I do this, which is why I was so confident in Kepka last weekend, and it's actually temporarily personal Kepka. It's put me off picking the big names now. Um, Having said that, it's a lesser known player that's actually got a really, really solid world ranking. So, just as a couple of notes, as I said, I like to throw loads of names at you, so in case any of them play well, which inevitably one of them will, I can still take credit for it. One of my things when it goes, it's the same for horse racing. If I'm having a bet at the horse racing, you don't want to maybe look at the horse that's won like its last 3 races. You want to look at the horse that's maybe steadily increasing or has maybe thrown the odd result in there. Okay, likewise, when it comes to when I look at players that are in form on the PGA Tour, the first thing I look at is have they finished in the top 20 in their last 3 starts? Um, but that's a bit stupid because finishing top 20 in 4 starts in a row on the PGA Tour is really, really difficult. So what do? Look for players that have finished in the top 20 in their last 2 starts, so they've got a bit of room to fall into. You hopefully you're on the same page as me here. Okay, so in this week we have 5 players. We have 5 players that have finished in the top 20 in their last 2 starts. They are Ludwig Aberg, Russell Henley, Sepp Straka, Gary Woodland, obviously, just had a good win, and Shuraban Yelamaraju. Okay, and we're looking at it, and I'm going okay. Then the next thing we look at is, do they have any course form? Do they have any form in the event? And one player has finished 4th in his only ever appearance here at the Valero Texas Open, and that is also the highest finish of all of the players that I've just named combined in their careers at this event. So I am picking this week Russell Henley, the world number 10. Boring player. I won't lie, but it's not a marquee event, and I can see someone like Russell Henley just picking up a little win before we go into Augusta, and everyone going, "Oh no!" Anyway, we're moving on to next week. So I'm really quite happy with my pick, Russell Henley, and I hope he wins for me this weekend. And if you're fancying a little bet, go out there as well. Just want to say before you say your pick as well. I almost picked a real outsider because last year the winning score here was 9 under par when Brian Harman won. So if they have the course set up anywhere near as tough, it's a Pete Dye venue, TPC San Antonio. If they have the course set up as tough as they did last year, watch out for Jordan Smith, the Englishman, because he finished 3rd at Innisbrook a couple of weeks ago, and that was a really tough venue where Fitzpatrick picked up the win. So he's and what I like about that when it gets a bit firmer, he's not the biggest hitter, Jordan Smith, but his iron play is absolutely outrageous, and that's going to come in handy on firm, fast greens when maybe your big hitters are going to be losing control of the ball and have a little bit less spin into those greens. So just watch out for Jordan Smith as a bit of an outsider for us English contingents. But those are my picks: Russell Henley, and my outsider is Jordan Smith. Ben Hartshorn, what are you fancying?
Yeah, it's interesting. I've just looked through the field. Like there's quite a few players I'd written down that aren't even playing. I mean, last week you didn't even pick up that Barrett picks Scheffler, who again for his pick last week didn't even fucking play. So and I met and Barrett was like, well, how
He did
messaging
withdraw
me?
after.
Did he? Oh,
Yeah, he withdrew, I'm pretty sure, the day before.
that's all right then. Because Barrett messaged me the weekend. Oh, how Scheffler's getting on? Like he's not fucking playing shag. But anyway, I like Russell Henley. I just think he's the sort of player that just picks up one win a season. Again, if it's a course that needs a bit more techie than a bit more power, he's the sort of guy I'd be looking at. I mean, Tommy Fleetwood's playing. Surely he stinks himself up to a top 10. Again, Brian Harmon, I don't think he'd be miles off. There's someone else. I mean, I just think someone like JJ Spawn. I don't know why I'm picking small players, little guys, but I'm going to pick someone who is very small again, and someone who's been very solid this season. We've definitely mentioned him already. Sorry, I'm just trying to find him on my list because I want to say his name right. So I'm going to go with the Japanese Ryo Hisatune.
Yeah.
If that's how you say it. And he's 64th in the official world golf rank, 21st in the FedEx. Who's been all right. I think he's had a few off weeks. I know the first 5 or 6 weeks he was up there. I know he's unbelievably young as well, which doesn't really make a difference. But it's just interesting. I just think someone like that might just come and just pick one up or do really well. I expect him to be in the top 10. So yeah, Ryo Hisatune is my pick for the week.
And I don't know whether and I feel like you haven't done this deliberately, but he finished, I'm pretty sure it was 5th last year in this. So not
Wow.
only is he a bit of a player that you've picked just off of, or I've seen his name up there and whatnot, but he also really likes this golf tournament. So I also wouldn't be surprised to see him. The little name as well that's being thrown about, because obviously people are loving it on social media as well. Just we've named off the field here now to watch out for, but Jordan Spieth has had a couple of good finishes the last couple of weeks, and he also has finished quite well recently in the Valero Texas Open, his home state of Texas. So it'll be interesting to see if he can have a week and maybe throw in contention. I'd never picked Jordan Spieth. I don't know why I did last year. I picked him for a major last year, and that was a stupid decision. But you won't find me picking him anytime soon. However, don't be surprised if he puts a good week together. Okay, we are pretty much bang on the hour mark of this podcast, and that is where we are going to wrap it up. We've had a bit of everything in there. We've started with the big news that Tiger Woods had his car on its side to start the weekend. And hopefully we are going to be on a bit more of a better roll than he was into Masters Week, and you guys can join us for that as well. We're looking forward to it. And our later podcast this week is going to be us talking all things Augusta National, getting in the mood for it. We're not messing around anymore. All of our spare podcasts now are going to be focused solely on the Masters. So if you are a Masters super fan, and you do like to get involved in the Masters trivia and stuff like that, we want to hear from you later on in the week regarding that. So have a listen and stay tuned for what we've got in store. Okay then. Thank you very, very much to all of you who have listened. Keep sharing the podcast, please. Our views last week were really good and listens were really, really good. So I was really happy with that and happy to hear all of you enjoying it. Keep enjoying your golf. Keep enjoying watching the golf. And hopefully we make better picks than we did last weekend when one didn't play and one missed the cut. All right then. Thank you very much. And we will catch you in the next podcast.